Welcome back to the BTS Happy Hour podcast. I'm your host, Andrea. With me as always is Morgan.
Hey, what's up?
Butter was released May 21st after a countdown on YouTube. The BTS members had a 14-minute pre-show on YouTube where they prepared toasts with butter and jam and other sweet ingredients on them. And then they did a countdown to the premiere. So I thought it was pretty exciting and it was a fun premiere. Like, only BTS, I feel like, has fun events like that. Like, other songs come out and it's just like, oh, that song is out and that's that.
Well, I think other K-pop groups do that too, right? This is a K-pop thing.
Yeah.
It's not a Western thing.
Yeah, I only have paid attention to, like, when Taylor Swift has a new song and she, like, the song has a countdown and stuff, but not a whole pre-show and other things that, you know, get people excited. So I thought this event was pretty fun. And so the official description of Butter was that it's going to be a dance pop song with lyrics, confessions of sweet romantic love.
I got the superstar glow, so ooh, to the boogie. A side step right left to my beat. I like the moon rock with me, baby. Know that I got that heat. Let me show you 'cause talk is cheap. Side step right left to my beat. Get it, let it roll. Smooth like butter.
And I thought it was a great song. I wasn't sure what to expect because we got a lot of different messages from the teasers and many different theories were out there. But I thought they really knocked it out of the park with that because it's such a infectious song and I could see it being a song of the summer, that type of thing where it just gets really popular.
Yeah, this is basically Dynamite again. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just going to be another summer hit.
Yeah, I think the beat is really good. It makes you want to dance. It makes you want to listen to it over and over again. And I agree with you that it had a similar template to Dynamite. Like it had, I mean, it was all English, which is the same thing. And it also had lyrics that had the similar structure. Like it had, you know, American references, pop culture references, and just like fun lyrics that were just about the moment, not necessarily any bigger message than that. So they had referenced Michael Jackson and Usher with some of the lyrics. And the song, maybe it was too short, but I think maybe they put this together as a radio version. And I'm hoping that maybe there's like going to be a longer version, like an extended version. Because I feel like the song goes fast when you watch the video and you listen to it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's only 3 minutes.
And I think similar to Dynamite, you probably could create a lot of remixes. Because what I thought it could have used a little more of was just like J-Hope rapping. Because I wanted to, I wanted to hear his voice a little bit more. But I was glad that, you know, everybody had a part, all the rappers rapped, and they all rapped in English. So some people had thought, oh, maybe there won't be that much rap with an all English song because we don't know how comfortable they feel with their English rapping. But
They seem comfortable.
Yeah, they did well. Like I wouldn't have known for sure if I didn't know ahead of time that this is not a Western group.
I felt their English has improved since last time. If you just heard this on the radio, you probably wouldn't even think it's a K-pop group.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't think twice about it. It's just like, oh, this is just a really good pop song that I'm hearing.
And really, that's the level they need to achieve to, you know, get sort of more, I don't want to say more mainstream acceptance in the US because they have it, but I mean, even higher mainstream except, you know, like people just view them like Ariana Grande.
Yeah, just a similar, like, this group is ubiquitous.
Right. So I feel like their English is at that level. You don't listen to the song and think, is this a foreign group singing an English song?
Yeah.
No, you don't even think that.
I can't really notice
and
it.
It might be why J-Hope doesn't have as many. Maybe his English is not as good. I don't know.
That's possible.
Yeah.
And then as far as the video, if I had to describe it, it would be like the fire emoji. I thought it was just such a good video with all of the looks that they had and all of the dancing and the different sets. It had a similar structure to Dynamite too. Is just like, okay, we had a couple different sets and, you know, an outfit is for this, an outfit is for that. And they had the same director that they used for most of the BTS videos. So I guess Hybe likes to have that consistency with it. So it was just the same guy. And I thought one of the highlights was the elevator part where they all have their individual dance. And I remember J-Hope had a really good dance move. It was like, whoa, he's really like doing something crazy there. And it's like, actually all of them had a really good dance. And I thought that some of them, like, wow, you guys danced like even better than I thought. Like, this was all ad-libbed, so whatever they did is like something that they made up, I guess. And they probably each did a couple of different things, and the editor chose whatever one they thought fit the best. So I thought J-Hope's was like the most, like, it looked the most difficult. Like, he had his like arms and legs going all over the place.
Well, I mean, they all are experienced dancers at this point.
Yeah, that's true. And they all did some kind of different things too. So it wasn't all, oh, you guys repeated this move. But like Jungkook, he was like spinning around, and some of the others just had like more of a like V's was like more of like a cute dance. And I like Jin's where he had his move and then he ended it with like pushing down his sunglasses. So I was like, okay, that's really good. That's a good ending dance to use for that scene. And there was a part in the beginning where they're all standing there when they're doing their mug shots, and there was a lot of like numbers on their signs, which I didn't really take the time to figure out what all that stood for, but I know one of the numbers was their birthday because I can recognize that, and then the other number was something else. Maybe they picked like random numbers, or it's a date or something. So I'm sure there's fans out there that already like figured out every single number, but I thought it went by quick, and probably there's just like a lot to digest in this video, like a lot of different things going on. And at the very end, they had the videos about butter, and they used that in the lyrics and everything. And they had J-Hope eating the butter at the end.
Yeah, gross.
That was crazy. I was like, why did they have them do that? Like, why didn't they let him eat something that had butter on it, like a piece of toast or something? Just like the straight.
But then you can't see the butter.
That's true.
It looks like toast.
They really wanted to emphasize the butter part.
That must have been gross, though.
Yeah.
They probably spit it out right after.
Oh, I hope so. Like in professional commercials, when you have to, oh, I'm eating cereal or whatever, the actor spits stuff out. So hopefully he knew about that. And then I saw somewhere J-Hope said that took an hour to film. So however many takes that is, that's a lot of butter. But yeah, I hope he spit it out and just like took a new bite each time. And then as far as the visuals, I thought everybody looked as good as possible. Like, that's as good as everybody has ever looked. Especially Jin and Jungkook. Like, Jin, he looked like a movie star. Like, he had the sunglasses and like the longer hair and stuff. And Jungkook,
that's what it's going to be in the future.
Yeah, definitely. You could definitely see that happening. And he looked so cool and like mature. And he looked like it was Ocean's 11. Now, that didn't pan out as far as like my theory, but he looked like someone from that.
They had the mug shots, sort of.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I wonder, maybe they are leaving it up to interpretation.
It's not. It was never going to be that deep.
Yeah.
You have to. It's just a pop song.
It wasn't going to have an entire plot.
Yeah, it's not going to. Yeah, it's going to be a fun summer song. I enjoy the different color hair. That's good. You can differentiate. Not that fans can't differentiate them, but keep in mind they're constantly trying to get new fans. Mm-hmm. And of course, differentiating the people is helpful.
Yeah.
They kind of look anime. I really
did.
like the blue hair, the pink hair.
Yeah.
Looks very anime.
And I think when they have the all English songs, I don't know if this is a conscious decision, but they have like Jungkook front and center a lot. I mean, a lot of songs he is anyway one of the main people, like that starts a song and is in the center and stuff like that. But I think for the West, he's a good person to focus on because people always like how he looks and his voice and stuff. And he has a good English skills too. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they did that on purpose, but he really stood out. And I think that might have been a strategic thing. And I think it worked because after the fact, I read somewhere that he was the most searched person on Google afterwards. He looked very rock and roll and or anime, like you said. That's very, very different. And he had what looked like an eyebrow piercing, and a lot of people thought it was real, but I was like, oh, I don't think he would just do that just for one video and just to do it. But later on, he said that was just a sticker, so it was not.
A sticker? How do you make a sticker look like a piercing? It's like three-dimensional, though.
Yeah, but well, I guess it's just like crystals or something, so that it looks. I don't know.
Okay.
They have something that out there that
He probably really has an eyebrow
that
piercing.
mimics it.
Nah, I think he has an eyebrow piercing.
But
He has tattoos.
But a sticker would be a lot easier because with a piercing, you have to worry about, that breaks your skin and you have to like keep up with it and everything, and it could get infected possibly.
I bet he has a piercing.
So you think he actually has one?
Yeah.
Yep.
He has tattoos. It's the type of thing he would want to get.
That's true. It is logical. The type of person he is.
Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you. Oh, it's just fake.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just saying that so it's not so shocking
or something.
Yeah. Or maybe he doesn't want to get into like more trouble in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's already has too many tattoos. So.
Yeah, I feel it's real.
And then, so I think he stood out a lot. Like I said, Jin stood out with his look. I think the stylist did really well with him this time. And I think the Jin stands, they have to be happy with how Butter turned out for Jin. Because remember Dynamite, they got angry and they sent trucks to Big Hit's building. But he had a lot of screen time and lines in the song. So I think they have to be happy this time. And RM, he looked very buff in this video. I mean, we know that he was like working out for a year or whatever. You could tell like with his outfits and stuff, and looked very alpha male, like when he was in the front at one point. And then as far as hair colors, J-Hope, he had very bright yellow hair. And normally I don't think that hair color looks good. It looks like too fluorescent or whatever, but it really worked on him. I think it made sense and he pulls it off really well. The other major hair color was Jimin having like a rainbow hair color. And then he said that a lot of fans were giving him advice as far as what hair color to do this time. And then he said, well, why don't I just do all of them at the same time? And that way everybody's happy. That's paraphrasing. But I thought his hair worked really well and made him stand out. And he also had the sharpest suit, or I don't know, he just wears it really well. But he had the gray suit, if you saw that.
All their suits were fine to me. Mm-hmm. They fit different.
Yeah.
They just fit different.
And
I don't like the shoulders, some of the weird shoulders, but
that seems to be a thing right now. It's like padded shoulders, huh?
This is beyond padding. It's like it's trying to create a shape.
Right. Some of them were like pointier. So that's a look right now. And you never know with like they're the global ambassadors for Louis Vuitton now. So who knows what high fashion things they're going to have to wear.
I hate Louis Vuitton, by the way. That would be terrible if I don't like it. I think Virgil Abloh sucks. So.
Oh yeah, they seem to be big fans of him. I don't know what his aesthetic is, but
he's from streetwear.
Right. It seems like very different than someone they would normally pick for Louis Vuitton. But maybe they're trying to be like more edgy these days.
Streetwear is a big thing. I'm not against it. I like some streetwear aspects, but not when it interferes with classic men's styling.
Right. You want to keep to the
like
usual
men in
rules.
suits. I don't want that to change so much.
Right. It works. It's classic.
Yeah.
The lines.
I don't mind other things being introduced to what men wear. That's fine, but I don't like them touching like suits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, it's like that's been done perfectly. We don't need to innovate.
This is one of those things that just doesn't need to change.
Yeah. Definitely. Their suits looked really good. I don't know if they were Louis Vuitton in this video, but they probably were, but they filmed it recently.
I mean, they're just ambassadors. They didn't agree to have Louis Vuitton dress them all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know that they were Louis Vuitton. This is not a Louis Vuitton look, honestly. It's not.
Yeah,
this is just for this video.
Yeah, and they had at least,
or maybe Louis. I mean, they change all the seasons all the time. Maybe it's Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, I didn't look up all the credits, but they had at least 3 different outfit changes in this video. So that just seems like, wow, that's a lot for 7 people. Then it's like 3 outfits each. So they had a lot of fashion happening in this video. And then I have to be honest and talk about all of the predictions that I had.
Mm-hmm. They were all wrong.
Yeah, they were literally every single one was wrong.
Well, like I said, it wasn't going to be that deep.
But it's always fun to speculate about what's going to happen. It didn't have a con artist or heist plot. The outfits were just, they wanted those outfits for the look. The song was not about post-COVID life. It wasn't about anything in particular. It's just like about love. But,
So I was right.
Yeah, so you were right.
happy pop song.
I should have thought more about, okay, what is this? This song is more of a parallel to Dynamite. Like, that was its own standalone thing. I was thinking of it, oh, what is B like? That was the last thing they released. So I thought there would be some kind of connection, and there was not.
Right. They just want another English happy pop song for the summer.
Yeah, mainstream song.
And I don't know if I mentioned in this episode, but probably it'd be like a Western songwriter, right?
Yeah.
That person's not going to imbue much meaning into a song or anything. They're just going to write the catchiest song they can, slap some English lyrics on it that BTS can handle, and go.
Yeah.
That's what this song was always going to be.
That's true. As once we hear that it's going to be an all English song, I should have known that, okay, that means Western writers. That means it's going to be, nothing too complicated. Yeah, that should have been a clue to me, but I didn't take the hint there.
I mean, the last English song talked about LeBron James.
Yeah, not in any critical way.
There's no depth.
It's just, LeBron's cool. And even at their global press conference, Jimin had said, we wanted to prepare a song that everyone could listen to easily. There's no huge message or anything like that. It is a cute confession song saying that I want to melt you softly like butter. So they even confirmed it's like, that's it. It's just a song, just a regular song. Yeah, and it is not referencing COVID at all. So, but we don't know what their album that they're putting together. That might be a whole different thing. We'll see. And then the teasers and the concept clips, which a lot of people were confused by and were being sent into all different directions. Do we think that they made sense now that we've seen the video?
I don't know. I don't remember the teasers very well.
Oh, well, remember the first one was the poster that had all the different objects on it, like the Smash Lollipop and the jellies.
Oh, there was a lollipop.
And the happy face balloons. Yeah, RM was eating a lollipop at one point.
There you go. It didn't make sense.
But all the other things, they weren't really a focus of the video. So I don't know. I mean, I guess they were just trying to be artistic with it. And it's like, let's hint at some stuff. And the outfits that were in all the teasers, they did wear all those outfits. So that translated to the video. But then the concept clips, remember when they were in the room and then there was some kind of song in the background, a beat. That wasn't the song. That wasn't Butter. And the things they were doing, like, that didn't really happen in the video. It was just they were standing there and there was all these, like, pink lights and purple lights and stuff like that. Like, that didn't really match with it. But, maybe that was just their artistic license and they were trying to hint at... Because the concept clips made people think, well, it's going to be a dark era. It's going to be a very, that kind of a song, like Blood, Sweat, and Tears or something like that. But that, I guess the mood part of it turned out to be, it's just a bright concept instead. Maybe for the purpose that it worked because everybody was talking about it. Everybody was speculating something and it doesn't have to like match up exactly. I mean, there's no rule that teasers have to be accurate or anything. So I thought it would be good to look back and see if it matched up with the video. So RM said that they received the song mostly complete and he worked on redoing the rap sections. I think he thought that the rap parts weren't totally compatible with their style and so he redid those parts. But as far as all the other people, it seems to be all Westerners. The other songwriters are Ron Perry, Sebastian Garcia, Alex Billowitz, Stephen Kirk, Rob Grimaldi, and Jenna Andrews. And I thought it was kind of odd that Ron Perry was involved. He's the CEO of Columbia Records. In K-pop, that happens a lot. Like, okay, JYP will be directly involved with writing a song for Twice or ITZY or whatever, but I don't really see that in America. So I wasn't sure. It's like, wait, did he really do any work or did he just like make a deal with them so that he could get a songwriting credit? But once I looked up his background in Wikipedia, it looks like he actually does work with artists a lot. And before he was the CEO of Columbia Records, he was head of A&R, and that's a lot of direct involvement with artists. So I suppose this could be a legit thing and that he helped with the song. But you have to think that that does give him more incentive. He's given a credit on this song, and then he's the president of Columbia. He's going to, work harder to make this a big hit, right? And pull whatever strings he has to pull. But, I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sure he had input on the song, and he has experience as a producer, so it seems okay then.
What do you mean it seems okay?
Well, you know how a lot of times in the West, people get songwriting credit when they didn't actually do anything?
Oh, but he has the first credit, correct?
Yeah.
If you had the first credit, you did something.
You think they wouldn't
They don't lie
fabricate
about that.
anything?
They don't lie about that. If you have the first credit, you're the person who really wrote it.
Yeah.
It's the third person and the fourth person with the credit that's questionable.
Maybe they did it. They do it in order of
Right. Maybe
who
you
did the
change like
most.
3 words and they give you credit.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's why the thought crossed my mind. We know other big artists do this, like people that don't write their own songs, but then they want credit on there. And there's a lot of like A-list people that do that. But I saw from NT Lawyer, as you know, we've referenced him before. He writes the blind items, so it's just like gossip about celebrities. But he said that Taylor Swift, you know how she won Album of the Year for Folklore, and then how Joe Alwyn supposedly helped her write 2 songs, but under, ghost name or whatever. And it's like, okay, he's an actor, but I guess, maybe he came up with some words or something so he could get a credit. That's fine. People were like fine with that. It's like no big deal. But then she wins a Grammy for Album of the Year. And then after the fact, he was added as a producer on a couple more songs. And so then that means he gets a Grammy.
Right.
So that seems very sus on Taylor Swift's part that she just kind of added him on for his benefit. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. Like, you can't change the credits after it's won something.
That's Taylor Swift. What does that have to do with Ron Perry?
Just the fact that people do that. Now that I know more about Ron Perry, I believe him.
There's no deal in this case. He's not a celebrity who just tacked on. He wrote this song, and it's a good song, and it's a Western song, and that's what they needed, and that's what they got.
Maybe he wrote it and he was like, this is perfect for BTS, who we have this deal to work with, and I'm going to give it to them.
Maybe. In a lot of cases, people have songs sort of percolating and they just shelve it for a while, and then it's not released or it's not attached to anybody for a while until the right time. That I don't know. I think the more notable thing to talk about in this situation is that BTS can command top-tier writing talent to just write them a pop song.
Yeah.
Something that people don't understand is that a lot of what makes you a successful artist isn't just your talent. It's how much influence you have in the industry and which producers and writers you can get to work for you. If you write your own songs and all the songs are good, okay, great. You have all the power and you're going to be a success. But if you don't write your music, then what are you a slave to? You're a slave to the good songwriters on whether or not they want to let you sing their songs.
Yeah.
They're not beholden to you. You can't, you as an artist can't just knock down the door of the best songwriters and say, hey, you, write me a song. They don't have to listen to you. Everyone wants to sing their songs, so you get in line. They get to choose. That's the actual power dynamic, right? The best songwriters and producers get to choose who they work with, not the other way around. And clearly, or not clearly, but it seems to be that BTS is now in that driver's seat.
Yeah.
Western or Korean, they can have the best talent right for them.
Yeah. Like, people are dying to like collaborate with them now.
And if they say they want to work with somebody, then that person will work with them. And, when people are at the height of their career, that's the way it is. Like when Katy Perry was the height of her career, everybody wanted to work with her, right? Is that the case now? Not really. Even though she's still a big name.
Right.
You can sort of tell, if you just go look at the writing credits and the producing credits on her songs, it's not the same names anymore. She can't command those people anymore, because if they're writing good music, will they give her the song or will they give Ariana Grande the song?
Right.
Which person is going to sell more with your music? Well, you choose the person who's going to sell more with your music.
They would at least get
the moment.
offered it first.
Yeah. So who's in the catbird seat now with all of that? BTS, because they are on top. Here's the thing that I think they should do. They should take advantage of this while they are on top, and they should release more English track. They really should. You don't know how long it's going to last. So while all the best producers and writers are dying to work with you, work with all of them. And that doesn't look like doing one English track a year. That looks like doing 10.
Right.
I understand that maybe they don't want to just be viewed as, well, we were selling out to do English music or whatever. But here's the thing. There's still tons of talented producers and songwriters in the United States. It's not like this place is devoid of talent. And I know that this is a K-pop podcast, but we'd be foolish to think that the talent isn't more heavily concentrated in the United States still.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that they want to write a K-pop song. Although at this point, you write a song and if BTS uses it, it's not even K-pop. It's just a global song.
Yeah.
But still, they probably would want it to be an English track.
Right.
Just thinking forward, just thinking about the residuals they would get. Remember, songwriters and producers, they get residuals 10, 20, 30 years down the line. So they probably would prefer to be an English track.
And that's true that they can command all of the top producers right now. I remember hearing stories about other artists like Kelly Clarkson when early on when she didn't have any influence, she's talked about having to like beg songwriters, like, please write me a song. Like she was trying to get in contact with Sia and was like, I really need a song. Can you give me one? And it's like, oh,
Right.
That's really sad that you have to like grovel to people to get a decent song, because she didn't have any connections because she was just a like reality show person at that time. But yeah, that's kind of sad. But BTS has the status now that they can.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something they're looking at for the next album. There's an article from the South China Morning Post titled Asian Celebrities Replace Hollywood Stars as the Face of Luxury Brands. A slew of Asian-fronted campaigns for luxury brands marks a move away from picking stars that meet traditional Hollywood standards of beauty. Experts point to the pandemic as one reason for the move. So normally you'd see like American movie stars in a lot of these endorsements like Dior, Armani, Chanel, but recently more of these have been going to K-pop stars. Just like we talked about, BTS is the face of Louis Vuitton now, and Blackpink, they're the brand ambassadors for like a lot of luxury brands. People think that this is a trend now, that these luxury brands are purposely choosing K-pop stars. And they've kind of interpreted this as a move away from traditional Hollywood standards of beauty. I don't know if that's really the interpretation that I would take away from this. But it was a very interesting article about how it's going in that direction, showing more of the K-pop stars as the face of these brands.
Mm-hmm. So there's an interpretation that's moving away from Hollywood standards of beauty?
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree.
Yeah, I don't either.
I really just don't. Just because they're Asian. Honestly, the K-pop industry adheres to Hollywood standards of beauty better than Hollywood at this point. That's the reality of it.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Not saying for better or worse, even though I have my opinion about it. In the West, our beauty standards, it's like Lizzo now. Okay,
They've gotten out of hand. It's like
right.
anything is beautiful now.
Yeah, it is what it is. It's not what it was in 1960. They're not moving away from a standard of beauty. They're going back to it, in my opinion. Second of all, I think it's good because just realistically, so much of your business comes from Asia now.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with the pandemic, by the way. It has everything to do with the fact that so much of the business comes from Asia. So many of the customers are in Asia. The people who actually buy these luxury brands, so many of them are Asian. Why wouldn't they not want to see Asian faces? Of course they would, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a woman buying a purse in Asia. Well, why would seeing Julia Roberts, what is she, like 55 now? Why would seeing her influence your purchase at all?
Right.
Of course, Jenny influences your purchase more. Of course, Lisa influences your purchase more. It's just common sense. It's natural, right?
Asia is more into the luxury brands, I think. They believe in it more.
And the growing market for luxury brands is in Asia. So this is just it's a plain business move, and I have nothing against it. I think it's perfectly fine. It's logical, and as a tangent, I think that this shows you that, you know how people often whine about representation in this country?
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to whine about representation. Here's how you do it. You succeed. When you succeed, representation comes because people are forced into it. You don't beg for it.
You don't demand it.
You don't demand it. And when I say demand, it's really just whining and begging, right? Well, when people who look like you control a larger percentage of the world's economy, we will be forced to represent you. And that's what happened with Asia. and that's how you do it.
I think that's what happened in film too. It's like Bong Joon-ho wasn't begging for representation. He
wasn't.
made a great film, and it's like, well, they had to recognize it.
Yeah, and maybe that's not exactly the same exact thing, because this is commerce, right? And in that situation, I think Hollywood was just kind of caving to representation. But in this situation, it's pure capitalism, pure commerce. So the reason why Asia's increasing has increased representation is because it's successful.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot ignore the people with money. You cannot ignore the people who are buying your product. You can only ignore them for so long at your peril.
Like, that's
right?
your customer.
Right. And this is how you gain representation. And you can say, well, don't I deserve representation even if people who look like me aren't buying the stuff? Well, no, I don't think so. And this is a company. They are catering to their customer. When you say representation, it's not like voting for representatives in government. In that situation, of course, everybody should just get a vote and be represented. This is not that situation, though. This is expensive purses and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that anybody has a human right to be represented in advertising for expensive purses. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe you think they should. That's an interesting opinion. Yeah, I don't think that's human right. I think that the people who appear in Gucci ads, it's not really a human right. It's based on whoever's purchasing Gucci purse like products, right? And now Asians are purchasing them.
And I think another part of it is how we were saying, like, the West, they refuse to put young, up-and-coming people in the ads. Like, they're still using Julia Roberts. They're still using Cate Blanchett and Scarlett Johansson. You know, like, people that aren't in the, like, low 20s something age, whereas the K-pop stars that are getting all these endorsements, they're all like young, attractive people with very symmetrical features and classic beauty. So I don't think it's a race thing. It's just the West is being very stubborn about who they hire for these endorsements. And it's like, okay, those people aren't selling as well as they used to.
The West is also being more inclusive, and I say that with quotes. They're being inclusive about who's represented in these things. They're expanding beauty standards, right? Well, guess what? People in Asia don't care for that expansion. They want to see people who conform to traditional beauty standards.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're the customer, and you know the customer's always right. They want to see young, beautiful people. And when did that become a controversial thing? You might say, that's so unfair. There's all sorts of things that are beautiful. Like, well, talk to the millions of people in Asia then, okay? Go convince them. If you think that's time well spent, go ahead. Go launch a campaign to convince them. Good luck. I'm dying to see if that's successful. But based on their culture, based on their biology, they view young, beautiful people as beautiful.
Right.
And they would like those people to sell them stuff. And here, maybe in the West, maybe it's because we're more advanced or enlightened or progressive or whatever you want to call it. Maybe it's a good thing, in your opinion, that we're that way, but they're not that way. And so it makes financial sense for these companies to show those customers. And by the way, Asian customers, that group is growing. It's declining here in the West. Show them what they want to see. They want to see Blackpink.
Yeah.
Because they seem to be in every single freaking ad in Asia.
The cover of Sports Illustrated, they'll put like Ashley Graham or like Tess Holliday or, you know, the plus size models. And everybody, they say, oh, that's so great. That's who we want to see. That's beauty now. But then if you put them as a brand ambassador, you're not going to sell more purses because that's what they're looking at. They're looking at the bottom line. It's like which people are going to sell. And it's the fact that Americans are saying, yes, that's what we find beautiful now. You're lying because you're not buying more of what they're selling. The good thing is it's not about race. I know everybody wants to look at everything.
Yeah, it's not about race.
Everyone wants to look at through the lens of race now, but it's not about race. It's about symmetrical, nice, large features like eyes, lips. You know, it's very traditional things that are looked at. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing at all, and
No,
I'm happy.
I don't, because I'd much rather see ads with Blackpink members than literally like any celebrity from the United States at this point.
Yeah, I have just such a low opinion of Hollywood people now, and it's like, okay, I'd rather not see their faces as much, if at all possible. But we like the K-pop people.
Let me just
more.
ask you, when was the last time you saw an ad with an American in it and you thought, wow, that's such a great picture of this person. I'm going to save it on my computer.
Exactly.
When was the last time that happened? It's happened for me when I look at like a Blackpink, when like Jisoo is in an ad or something, or Lisa. Like, wow, that's such a great picture and it has a beautiful person in it. I think I'll save it on my computer.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm seeing BTS in whatever, endorsing whatever. It's like, yep, save photo, save photo.
When was the last time you saw that with a Western star in an ad? Just let me ask you.
I can't even think of the last time that happened.
Like they show ads that make you feel like, oh, I feel ideologically good about this. Like, well, yay, good job expanding beauty norms.
Right.
But that feeling doesn't make you save that to your computer, I bet, does it?
Right.
And furthermore, did it make you buy that thing?
No.
I bet you it didn't. I bet you that if you're the type of person that said yay for expanding beauty norms, you probably don't even buy that kind of thing. I bet you anything, the people who buy $6,000 purses, they just want to see a really attractive person selling it to them. That is the blunt truth of it.
It's why people idolize old Hollywood so much. Like that's when all the classically beautiful people were elevated. They were all A-list and everybody was attractive. And it's not like that anymore. Now it's like, okay, people with personalities are the top people in Hollywood.
There's nothing wrong with being a personality, but it's almost like there's this active rejection of people who are classically beautiful.
Like it's wrong.
It's like,
now.
oh, it's wrong. You're just a beautiful person, and that there's something wrong with that. We're human beings. We're biologically geared to gravitate towards beautiful people. What is wrong with that? It's almost like we live in a society that tries to tell you that the ice cream in your refrigerator and the juicy burger they're eating, they're bad, and you actually should hate them. And there's no reason to like those things at all. Like, but I like them. It actually needs to be said, what tastes good, tastes good.
Yeah, and what's beautiful is beautiful. That's all they're doing with hiring K-pop stars.
Right. They are not, just to reiterate, they are not saying, wow, let's be more inclusive. Let's be more diverse.
No.
By including Asians. No. Asians are successful. Asians buy stuff. Therefore, you must cater to them. And Asians in Asia like beautiful people who are actually beautiful. Not beautiful people according to what your gender studies professor in college told you should be beautiful. Because they didn't take that gender studies class with you in your American college. They're just looking at actual pictures and letting their biology tell them what's beautiful, which is obviously a much better gauge of what is beautiful. That's what sells them products.
They embrace the truth in Asia.
They're really based there, so that's all there is to it.
Yeah, it's not a political commentary.
This is not a triumph for diversity. This is a triumph for regressive beauty standards. So every single time you see a K-pop person selling stuff, it's not like, wow, I'm so happy these Western companies are acknowledging Asian beauty. No, they're just acknowledging beauty, okay?
Yeah.
They're not acknowledging Asian beauty.
Beauty, period.
Those people are going to sell stuff here, too. You know why? Because they're attractive. That's why. You think that Lisa and Jisoo are not considered attractive here? Give me a break. Of course they are.
On May 17th, SM rookie girl group Aespa unveiled their new single, Next Level, which is a hard-hitting remake of Australian pop artist Aston Wild's single for the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw soundtrack, which I didn't even know it was a remake, but after the fact I did go back and listen to the original. But this song seems to have polarized K-pop fans. People either love it or hate it. But I think I like the song, but I wish that they didn't have parts of it in there. I think they like overproduced it. And when you listen to the original, you could kind of see the source material and then where that song started from, because the original song was good. I actually think Aespa sings it better, the parts that they used from the old song. Like their voices are much better, and they took it to, I don't know if it's a different key or they just took everything up like half a note or whatever, but they sounded a lot better in their parts. But it did go wrong, and I kind of agree with the criticism of it, even though I like the song overall. But what did you think of the song?
I liked the first half of it, and then it's the mess. There's too many different songs.
Yeah.
I just have to skip over the second half.
It's that problem that we've talked about before, that sometimes the K-pop producers try to throw too many songs into one song, and then it just is a mess. And that's what happened here. I counted 4 different sections, and I was okay with 3 of them, I think. But then I started not liking one of them again. So really, it's like 2 out of 4 that I wish they had just kept it to that and then cut out those other sections. Part 1 is really good. It starts off very strong and their voices sound good and it sounds very futuristic and pop.
I'm on the next level. 저 너머의 문을 열어 next level. 널 결국엔 내가 부셔 next level.
And then part 2 is good too. The part where it starts, watch me while I work it out, that part. I mean, it's different, but at least it matches with part 1. And then there's the third part.
감당할 수 없는 절망도 내 믿음을 깨지 못해.
And then the fourth part is where it's right after someone says beat drop. And like that's the part where I feel like it gets out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a very different beat from the whole rest of the song.
절대로 뒤를 돌아보지 마라. 광야의 곁은
So I just wish if they had cut out section 3 and 4, then this would have been like a really great song, but they didn't. So it is what it is. But I still like the song.
I just want a song to sound like the same song. Is that so much to ask?
Yeah.
I'm okay with the interlude or a beat drop or a dance break or something like that. I wanted to still sound somewhat like the same song, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's going to sound like 10 different songs, then it has to be some sort of operatic thing like Queen, like Bohemian Rhapsody or something, which also sounds like 3 different songs.
That's true. And
but it's a 10-minute long opera or something,
people
right?
don't criticize that song. It's kind of its own thing, though. It's one of the few songs that's like that.
People don't criticize that song because it's such a classic, obviously. That helps, right? And the 3 different songs inside of it are also good. So they just think, well, they're just 3 different songs that happen to be together. And they deal with it. But I don't even like it in that situation. I feel like it should have been 3 different songs.
Yeah.
If that was released today, chop it up and have released just 3 different songs.
If it was released today, it would be criticized.
I think so. First of all, it's like 10 minutes long. It's 3 different songs.
Oh, I think at the time it was criticized. Like the producer...
It should have been criticized.
Remember, I think we saw in the movie...
Yeah,
Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah, I remember that scene where the guy was like, what is this song? It's too much and it's too long. But yeah, this song, Next Level, isn't going to be the next Bohemian Rhapsody. So they really should have kept it simpler, and because they already improved the original song. So I don't know why they felt the need to add these 2 extra sections in there that were completely different. But I like the song still. If I listen to it, I'll just like skip past the middle parts. Mm. It's like, oh, you have that button, the skip 15 seconds, or maybe that's just in podcasts though. Never mind. You could just like skip ahead.
Yeah, it's one of the worst multiple songs jammed into one song.
Yeah, our main reference for that is Bang Bang Bang, by Big Bang. That totally does the same thing. And I think I Got a Boy does that. The Girls' Generation song. It has like very different parts to it. And then more recently, House Party by Super Junior, it does that. I've listened to that song just a couple times, but it totally does that. It has like a very different section in the middle. But yeah, this song, it got a lot of people talking. I don't know if that was intentional, but how do you listen to this song if you're one of the engineers and you think, yep, this is how it should go? I don't understand.
Probably it's just a business decision. It's when the songwriter's not in control. It's the company. They say, we need this type of song, but also this type of song.
I think they wanted to give the vocalists in Aespa more to do. That's why they added that one section. But yeah, I think, okay, you could have done that just in another song. Have that one be vocalist heavy instead of putting it all in the one song. On May 18th, Source Music released an official statement to confirm that the members of GFriend have chosen to go their separate ways after 6 years. After the announcement, many fans were enraged as the agency stated that GFriend would no longer promote or partake in any activities due to the expiration of their contracts just 4 days before the date of the contract termination. Fans were really baffled because the news was so sudden, and they expressed their anger and disappointment on online communities. So I was also surprised, not that I followed GFriend that much, but I thought this was a story that we should look at just because it seems very sudden and odd that they weren't re-signed or that there was any hint of them disbanding, because a lot of fans thought, oh, that's not even a question because they've been recording stuff all through 2021. They're filming in places. They're updating their social media. It didn't look like there was any signals of any problems with moving forward, even though I guess they were coming close to their contract termination. I don't think anyone saw that coming.
So they're gone.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with the whole Hitler thing, right?
I don't think so, but you never know. I feel like the fans stood by them. They didn't have a huge backlash. It seemed like they had moved on from that. I don't know. And the fact that their label was bought by Hybe, people thought, well, this is, the start of a new era. This is a good thing because Hybe is so successful. They can take GFriend to like the next level. And that's what I thought was going to happen. But maybe that didn't work out. Maybe they were not compatible with Hybe, or I don't know if it even had to do with Hybe or not, or if this was a Source Music decision. And it's hard to say because no one's saying, here's why we didn't sign, or here's why the fact they didn't sign, maybe it's because Source didn't want to sign them, but it's hard to say because it's the same with the GOT7. It's like it's hard to say who decided what, or they're just letting them walk away. You know what I mean? Like maybe they weren't going to be signed again, but they just let GFriend say, well, we're not re-signing, like as a courtesy, they let them say like they're the ones that walked away. It's hard to say like what actually happened, but yeah.
It was just their time. If you're not going to re-sign, maybe they just said, we don't want to continue, right?
Do you think the members truly didn't want to continue as a group?
Look, I don't know. But maybe this dovetails into my theory I posited a week ago that Hybe is going to acquire JYP.
Yeah, maybe they're
like they don't need more girl groups. They don't need to re-sign this girl group.
They're clearing the way. That's possible.
They don't need to spend money on this girl group that doesn't have a future necessarily, right?
Right.
Why don't just acquire the company that has lots of successful girl groups? How about that?
Maybe Hybe said, well, we want our new girl groups that we're developing right now to have a lot of resources, so we're gonna.
That could be it too. Like they didn't develop them, so, and like the second contract's always more expensive. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, and I would say like, okay, GFriend isn't. I wouldn't put them at the top tier of groups, so. There's someone who's like, well, maybe sign them, maybe don't. It could go either way. I see that Source Music trademarked GFriend, so I don't know if they did that because they intend to use that later, or were they just trying to prevent the members from gathering together and going to another label and calling themselves GFriend still. That might have been a strategic decision there. But I do think, yeah, we don't know the involvement of Hybe. We haven't heard any leaked information of how they're pushing groups out or anything. But it's very possible that they are trying to clear the way for their own girl groups and freeing up resources here and there to help that along. Thank you to our guest, Morgan. You can find BTS Happy Hour on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many other podcast platforms. New episodes weekly. If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. Follow BTS Happy Hour on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also go to the website at btshappyhour.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for additional content. Until next time, this has been the BTS Happy Hour. Thanks for listening, and remember, make every hour a happy one.